Section 5.4, we are now going to graph logarithmic functions. Let's start with this page right here. And this will explain just what the parent function looks like and all those kinds of good things. So a logarithmic function is an inverse of an exponential function. Okay, whereas exponential functions have the form y equals b to the x, where the base is a positive number other than 1. Now its inverse will be y equals log base b of x, where again the base is any positive number that's not equal to 1. Now, since they're inverses, the domain and range have switched. So it's now the range that is all real numbers, and the domain has to be greater than 0. The reason a domain has to be greater than 0 is because, remember with an exponential, when we have a positive base, you can't raise it to a power and get a negative number. It has to be positive. Well, by the inverse, we know that x now has to be positive, just like here y had to be positive. We're going to graph points through 1, 0 and b1. So they're inverses. The points have switched. Now instead of when I put 0 in I get 1, now when I put 0 in I can't. Logarithms find exponents, and I cannot raise a positive base to a power to get 0. So there's now going to be an asymptote at x equals 0, as you can see on the graph here. Now when I put 1 in, the log of 1, what's that? Well, it's asking a question. Remember, logs find exponents. So b to what power would give us 1? And that has to be the 0 power. And then if I put b in here, now it says b to what power? Oops. Sorry. Now it says b to what power will give me b if I put it in here? Well, b to the first power will give me b, so that's a 1. So if you just see log of x, we know that that means when the base isn't noted, we know the base is 10. If you ever have a natural log, again the base isn't noted, but it's a natural log, that would be base e. All other bases they will write as a subscript. Okay, so let's try this now. We are going to graph transformations of log base b of x using the points 1, 0, b1, and x equals 0. So I've set this up. Let's start here. We are going to find the domain of f and then graph it. We're going to determine range and asymptotes of the function. Then we're going to find its inverse and find its domain and range and graph that. So a lot of stuff. So here we go. Domain. Well, if you recall, we said logarithmic functions, x has to be greater than 0. So kind of like square roots, where you always had to set what is ever in the square root greater than or equal to 0. Here, you can only take the log of a positive value. So whatever this expression is, x plus 1 here in this case, that has to be greater than 0, not greater than or equal to. You can't take the log of 0, just greater than 0. And if I solve that, I get a domain that x is greater than -1. So when we graph our function now, we should see that that is the domain. So let's try that. If I look at this function, the parent function is simply y equals the natural log of x. That will always be the parent function, just the log of x using whatever base they're using. In this case, it's a natural log, so it's base e. Now that would go through points 1, 0, because if I put 1 in, I get 0. If I put e in, I get 1. And then I can't put 0 in, that's my asymptote, x equals 0. Now, what transformations are taking place? Well, inside I'm adding 1 to x, so I need to do the inverse of what's inside. I need to subtract 1. Then outside they're subtracting 3. I need to subtract 3 from y. So let's do that. 1 minus 1 is 0. E minus 1 is e minus 1. And then 0 minus 1 would give me -1. The graph is going to move 1 to the left. Now the y values are all moving down 3. So this will be at -3, and then 1 minus 3 is -2. So let's graph this. First my asymptote. So I've got my asymptote at x equals -1. That'd be right around there. 0, -3 will be one of the points on the graph. And then e minus 1. So remember, e is 2.7. So 2.7 minus 1 is 1.7, -2. So I've got to increase through these 2 points and approach my asymptote. So I'm going to approach the asymptote down here and come up. Oops, I wrote on my picture instead of the graph. I thought it would go right through and it'll go forever. Notice the y-axis is not an asymptote. It keeps going up and to the right forever. And there you have it. So that's the graph of f. I'm going to make a little f there. All right, part C is to determine the range and the asymptotes of the function. By the way, you can notice from my graph the domain is x is greater than -1. It was graphed to the right. The range goes down forever and up forever. That's just going to be all real numbers. And the vertical asymptote ended up being at x equals -1. Part D, they want us to find the inverse. Okay, now, to find an inverse, we learned in section 5.2 that we switch x and y. I want to show you how that works. So I had this function, y equals log of x plus 1 minus 3. Switching x and y, it now says x is a natural log of y plus 1 minus 3. Now I got to get y by itself. So how do we get y by itself? Using inverses. First, we're going to add 3 to both sides because they're subtracting 3. Now I need to get rid of that natural logarithm. The inverse of taking a natural log, since a natural log is base e, is using an exponential base e. Logs and exponentials are inverses. So if I apply a base e to both sides, e will cross out this natural log. I now have e to the x plus 3 is equal to y plus 1. Last but not least, subtract 1, and I get y equals e to the x plus 3 minus 1. And that is now my f inverse of x. So I found my inverse. Now, what's its domain and range? Well, since these are inverses, it's going to be switched from the f function. So f had a range of all real numbers, so f inverse is going to have a domain of all real numbers. F had a domain that x was greater than -1, so f inverse is going to have a range that y is greater than -1. Now, last part, graphing it, I'm going to use a different color for that so we don't confuse the two, but graphing it, I don't need to do transformations or anything because it's just going to be the inverse of this graph. Switch x and y, right? So whereas this had an asymptote at x equals -1, f inverse is going to have an asymptote at y equals -1. Instead of going through points 0, -3, and 1.7, -2, switch those around. I'm going to go through -3, 0, and -2, 1.7. And the graph will increase through those 2 points. So it'll go like this, and, oh boy, kind of like that. Notice they should be reflections in the line y equals x. It should be reflected across that line. And there we go. I went too far over though, didn't I? Darn it, that was -3. Let me erase. I went to -4. I was looking at the asymptote instead of the y-axis, unfortunately. So -3, 0, sorry about that, and -2, 1.7. So right there. Yeah, hopefully you caught that while I was making that mistake. Took me a while. Notice it doesn't approach that asymptote, just the horizontal one. And there we go. And that's my inverse. Okay, let's try another one. Here's another natural log. Instead of doing another natural log, let's try a common log over here. So let's go right here, and let me move my face. Move your face. Still has a red arrow on it. Okay, so domain of this function. Well, you notice here I'm just taking the log of x alone. So I know I can't take the log of a negative, or 0, so x has to be greater than 0. Let's try to graph this. Notice it's a common log this time, which is base 10. So what I have here is I am going to have, so we have a common log. X is greater than 0 is a domain. Now the range, let's graph it first. So we were talking about graphing. Sorry, I had to pause the tape, forgot exactly where I was. So now, remember, there's an asymptote at x equals 0. I can't take the log of 0. If I put 1 in, the log of 1 is 0. And if I put the base in, which is 10 in this case, the log of 10 will give me 1, because 10 to the first power is 10. Now let's do our transformations. Nothing is happening inside the function. Outside the function, I'm multiplying by 2 and then subtracting 1. So that'll affect the y values, 2y minus 1. So let's see where everything ends up. I didn't give myself enough space here, foolishly. So the x values are going to stay the same, 1, 10, and 0. The y values, 2 times 0 minus 1 is negative 1. 2 times 1 minus 1 is just plain old 1. So if I graph this one, x equals 0, my asymptote is staying right on the y-axis. That isn't moving at all. 1, negative 1, of course, would be right here. Now 10, 1 would be, I'll just go as far over as I can, would be over here. So this graph looks pretty similar to the original, except it really takes a wicked turn because of the bigger base. So there's what that graph would sort of look like. You can see the domain definitely is x is greater than 0. The range would be all real numbers. It's going up and down forever. Vertical asymptote was at x equals 0. Let's find the inverse now. Well, this was base 10, so we had y equals log base 10 of x minus 1. Switch x and y. Get rid of the 1 by adding it to both sides. Now get rid of the log. Well, since this is a base 10 log, we have to apply a base of 10 to both sides. So my inverse is going to be 10 to the x plus 1 power equals y, which is f inverse. Okay, so this had a, oops, I screwed something up. I forgot my 2. Oh, darn it. Well, that's going to change things, isn't it? Let me go back up. You have to write down the whole function, not just part of it. Okay, so it was x equals 2 log y minus 1. So, yep, I still add 1 as my first step, but then I got to get rid of the 2. I got to divide by 2. Yikes. Equals log y. Then apply a base 10 on both sides, which will cancel that out. So my y value is 10 to the x plus 1 over 2. And there's my inverse. Now the domain and range will be switched. So now the range will be y is greater than 0, and the domain will be all real numbers. And so now if I sketch a graph, it'll just be the inverse of this one. So my asymptote will be on the y-axis, or on the x-axis, sorry, y equals 0. And then switching the values and my color while I'm at it. Instead of 1, negative 1, it would be negative 1, 1. Instead of 10, 1, it would be 1, 10, which I'm a little closer to getting on there. So its inverse will be its reflection in the line y equals x. And there you have it, okay? See if I can get one more in here. Let's do this one. This is a base other. This one is a review from last section. So here, I'm taking the log of x minus 1. So x minus 1 has to be greater than 0. So x is greater than 1. Now, my parent function this time is a log base 4 of x. So asymptote at x equals 0, if I put 1 in, I get 0 because 4 to the 0 is 1. And if I put the base in of 4, 4 to the first power is 4. So using transformations, what's happening inside? They're subtracting 1, so I add 1. They're multiplying outside by a negative 1 and moving it down 2, so negative y minus 2. So where does all this stuff end up? Well, 1 plus 1 is 2, 4 plus 1 is 5, 0 plus 1 is 1. And then negative 0 minus 2 is negative 2. Negative 1 minus 2 is negative 3, and so on. So then just graph these things. And everything else is pretty much the same deal. I'm about to run out of time. So hopefully this gives you a good start if I'm just plotting these things as I speak. And you notice this is going to decrease through these, so it's kind of going to be way up here, and that negative we multiplied by made it kind of come downward instead. But yeah, you know, then just the range, the same thing. You can see that's all real numbers. We got our asymptote, switch x and y to find the inverse, and carry through the exact same set of steps. Good luck.